Hey, Adam,
Geez,
one
why,
thing.
why do you think they called bumpers, Gary?
I don't know.
Because they come at the beginning and at the end, like bumpers.
Alex, you're a marketing guy. Do you like that design behind Paul? Does that sweet logo thing look pretty cool to you?
Hey, I forgot to hit the record button.
Yeah, that's really professional, isn't it?
Well, this is a professional podcast.
I met her in a parking lot and was handed 2 little Yorkies. And the only person I knew that knew Yorkies was Paul. So I called Paul and said, Paul.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud and subscribe today. Now it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Welcome to Sweet Talk, Idaho State University's Continuing Education and Workforce Trainings podcast. I'm Angie Wilhelm. Most of you may know me if you are following us. We have, of course, Shirley Hockett, my co-host today. How are you doing, Shirley?
I'm absolutely wonderful.
I really love it. For those of you who are just listening, Shirley has a really cool background with the ocean and a palm tree, and it's giving me vacation vibes as it's been snowing outside. With us today, we have Steve and Annie Quinton. They are here to talk a little bit about our annual Construction Combine. Welcome to both of you. Can you take a minute to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about the Construction Combine?
I'll let you start on that.
Hi, I'm Annie Harrison Quinton. We think we're going on our 7th year because Combine, we didn't get to do it in the pandemic. What we do is the first day we gather a bunch of high school students and above, 16 and above. And there's always a fantastic turnout. We teach them a trade. We set up 16, there might even be 18 stations this year. It's grown considerably. We have the Army National Guard. They're always right on board with us. We have all the tools. The second day, we put them in groups and we build sheds for veterans. We're building 11 this year. One of them snap tight. And so then, thank goodness for Denny's towing. They tow it to the veterans' home and place it. This has become pretty much statewide. Stephen and I go 4 or 5 different places and help people start their own combines. It is probably the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. It's the best part is the kids learn something, they figure out what they want to do and what they don't want to do. The real reward is giving a shed to the veterans. And I have to commend my husband for the perfect design of the shed and the hard work he puts in, and his class out at the reservation, the Taro boys. They put in so much work. We start pre-build on the 1st. And this year it's April 2nd and 3rd, and anybody's welcome to come out and say hi.
Well, thank you so much. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this program, Construction Combine was started in our office by someone named Scott Stevens years ago when he had noticed a need for training or for skilled labor in the trade industry. So he came up with this idea of a Construction Combine where we would bring high school juniors and seniors, as well as those in the community looking to build just a little bit of knowledge about what it was like to work in the construction industry. Builders and construction workers come out to work and work alongside of these participants. And the builders can offer a job to someone out on the site on that particular day. It has grown. That has happened. It has grown substantially throughout Idaho. I know we've had some in Wyoming, Colorado. It kind of went beyond ISU and kind of became its own thing that many industries and schools are replicating. I'm going to turn to Shirley for a minute. I'm going to put her on the spot. Much of this is possible for us because of Home Depot How has Home Depot supported us, Shirley?
Well, they've supported us with the place to have Construction Combine in order a place to build these um, sheds for the veterans, and they've supplied a lot of the materials. In the past few years, they've allowed me to bring my fifth wheel out, so I'm kind of on site and can work throughout the night getting things ready for the next day for the Construction Combine to get going. But they've been a wonderful supporter for this group.
Yeah, and I agree. Home Depot Foundation gives us a grant. It's a substantial grant every year to host this. That's why you see them on the front of the sweatshirts. We have sweatshirts we give participants, and Home Depot's logo is on that to show that they are the primary sponsor. I'm going to switch back. Steve Quinton is the person who kind of heads up the build a little bit. He's the one that came up with the plans for the shed. So I'm going to ask Steve a little bit. When participants come to the Construction Combine, what type of construction industries are they going to have some exposure and hands-on experience with?
Well, we start off with the wood in the wood department, the wood framing. We have like 6 stations of different processes going on, such as roofs being built, doors being built, rafters being built, foundations being built. So there's just a lot in the framing. But what I like seeing is all the other subs that come in and set up their little booths so they can show these kids a taste of what it's like to do something like electrical and plumbing, HVAC, flooring, concrete excavation. They get their hands, they get a little taste of it, okay? And yeah, they're going to learn a little bit, but they actually get their hands and they get to try something. There'll be like even a drywall phase or restoration does drywall repairs and stuff. And to me, that's one of the biggest stations. As many restoration stations as you can have, these kids can go home and fix some of the problems in their houses really fast. That's even happened to us one time where a kid came to us out in the public and he said he fixed his mom's wall because of what he learned on the combine. It's just little things like that. And you see some of the kids, you see that light go on in their head. You start seeing that little fire thinking like, wow, I may not want to go to 4-year college and grab a hold of $100,000 debt when I can go out here in 4 years and get paid while I learn and still end up with a high wage journeyman wage.
Yeah, and what Steve's talking about are our apprenticeship program. Steve actually is in charge of the apprenticeship carpentry program out at Taro, out at the tribe. And then internally here at ISU, we have HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. Those are all what we consider earn as you learn programs, where you get a job and work in that job to get your hands-on hours while you come to school in the evening to learn some of those like codes, rules, regulations, etc. These are very well-paying jobs. Of course, that increases as you learn, as you get your journeyman. So it may not start out as high as it will be. Just understand that, once you get that journeyman, your wage is going to increase.
Well, and I've noticed over the years that we've got young ladies becoming more interested in the construction era. It makes me proud as a woman to see an all-girl team who take responsibility and ownership of, I did this shed, and that they're out there and they're interested just like the guys are.
Sure.
I've learned a lot from being on Construction Combine, following some of them around and catching little tips on how I can fix things in my house, like sheetrocking and mudding and all that other kind of stuff, because I was single for so many years that I didn't have anybody to help me do it. And it was a blessing in disguise to me.
Yeah, and we have young women that come out every year, and we have women who are currently enrolled in our some of our apprenticeship programs here at ISU. I'm going to turn back and ask Annie a little bit about the work she does. This is free. It's free of cost for participants. And much of that is because we get sponsors that help donate tools and money for materials we may need. Can you talk a little bit, Annie, about where that money goes?
The Army National Guard is a big supporter since day one. They always buy the lunches. We're doing food trucks. Some of our money, we have so much community sponsorship, and just for needs. If we needed something extra, the money's there. If we shirts, I think this year I might have somebody to pay for the shirts. That's what I'm talking about. Is this community is so giving and so wonderful that they give and give and give for this combine, and have for all these years. I really want to thank Home Depot, because Brad Landon, and Scott Stevens got together, 7 years ago, and he has been a driving force, even though he's not here anymore. He's been a wonderful driving force through the foundation to get us that grant. And it just means so much. And you can tell how much it means when you see the veterans and the tears are in their eyes. And how thankful they are that we, as ISU and Home Depot, recognized what they did for our country. It always comes up that you need extra things. Well, we've got the money there because of these wonderful donors. Cole Chevrolet, Art, and Ryan have been there from the beginning. Lookout Credit Union, Amerititle. There are so many, this year after year after year. They just put us right into their budget. And it really feels good because they're behind it. All the dignitaries want to show up. It's just packed at like 3:00 in the afternoon on Thursday, so we can present them. Dave Perstupa, who gives the plaques out. It's just, it kind of like takes a village. Shirley, who works so hard on registration. You, Angie, who works so hard on getting all the logos, ordering shirts. And we're all there, and we're all a team, and that's why everything goes off so wonderfully.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk a little about with those sponsorships. There's so much that we need. When we say we want to make this free for participants, that means they're not going to need to show up with anything. Our sponsors allow us to have buckets with tools in them for those students to use. That includes a sweatshirt, because, we've noticed that these kids, I think originally there might have been t-shirts, but it's cold in April, it's cold in March. So it gives them something to put on that they can still move in. We need building materials. That's our biggest expense, right? We need building materials, and the Home Depot Foundation is our largest sponsor for those materials. Denny's Wrecker takes the sheds and delivers them to the veterans, right? Like, there's so much that goes into just the production of this that our sponsors are key in that.
Well, this year we're involved with Home Depot putting up $100,000 worth of materials just for the veteran sheds to be made.
Not 100.
They got 4 combines.
Oh yeah, we've got 4 combines coming up. So yeah, that is what it is. And the combine fever is like everywhere.
It's
growing
every year.
We're also going to go do one up in Coeur d'Alene, because the Army National Guard was just so excited what they saw last year. Every year it seems like I get a sponsor. I ran
Colorado Springs, Colorado last year.
I ran into a wonderful guy that works at DeWalt that I've been trying to get a hold of for 6 years, and he's ready to come on board and do anything that we need. It's just, whenever you have time to sit there and explain it and show the past videos, that's where it.
No, the Army National Guard that was Annie mentioned, the Army National Guard not only supplies sometimes power for us, but they also bought a trailer for us to store tools in. And they've hauled that trailer to other combines throughout the state with that equipment in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's a fantastic partnership we have. The veterans and people in the Guard, currently in the Guard, come out and help with this combine every single year.
Usually
Yeah.
build sheds.
Yeah, they help build the sheds. They help right alongside some of those learners and participants. I'm going to give Shirley a minute. We only have about 5 or 6 minutes left, but we're talking right now about what happens the days of, but Shirley's really instrumental in what leads up to those days of. So I just want to give Shirley a minute to talk about how much time and effort and what it actually takes behind the scenes to put one of these on.
Well, we furnish, we used to put the groups in teams. I think this year we're changing it up a bit, but with the registration, and for those that are younger than 18, we have to send out assumption of risk liability forms, have them sign them, have their parents sign them. For those who are 18 above, we have to send them out to them for their signature. So all of that paperwork has to be accumulated and gathered beforehand. And if they come to the Construction Combine and they don't have their paperwork, and we keep track of them, if they don't have it and they check in with us, we make them call their parents. And there are times that we've got a hold of moms because it seems like they always call mom. And she says, where is he? What's he doing? And it's like, did you not tell your parents what you were doing today? And so we'd go into detail as to what they're doing. And, you know, you can hear the pin drop in the background and the wheels turning as mom's thinking about what they're actually doing. And 99% of the time we do get approval. Very seldom are the kids turned away by the parents. They can't do this, but we have a lot of support from the parents. And what makes my day is when we have the counselors who help promote this with the kids in high school, that they show up and they check on the kids to make sure they're there, and then, you know, talk to them and see how they're doing and what they like about it. So, you know, we get the support not only from the schools, the counselors, but also the parents in the background, that we get their support. And we take roll. We give them an hour to get into what they're doing, and we'll go through and we'll take roll. And then lunchtime, we take roll again. After lunch, we take roll. And there's, you know, about an hour or two later, we'll take roll again. We usually take roll 4 to 5 times during the day. And the first year we did this, we had contractors that were going around and choosing kids they wanted to talk to. Well, these 2 young men all of a sudden, poof, disappeared. And the one contractor said, you know, I know their dad. He got on the phone, and 15 minutes later, those boys were at the desk checking in. So it like I say, we had the support of the parents, and you know, you see them come out there. I know the first day you look at them and they're bored spitless. They're like, what am I doing here? And you can see, you know, the glaze going over their eyes. But on that second day, when they finally see what they learned the first day, go into action and actually are using what they learned the first day on the second day. It's like the light bulb went off. They've just blossomed. And I mean, even the young ladies, they're given that self-esteem build. They're given that self-confidence that because I'm a girl, it doesn't mean I can't do this. So we have to team up. It takes 2 of us to lift this 2x4, or 3 of us to put this piece of plywood up, where it only take the guys 1 or 2. And so it takes us a little bit longer. I find the girls are a little more meticulous at matching seams and what than the guys are, but it's a confidence builder, even for the guys. You know, like I say, a lot of them come in and they don't know, is this really what I want to do? Mom made me come do this, or dad made me come do this. But by that second day, they see what they've accomplished. And you can see the pride as they walk their veteran to the shed. And I didn't realize they did this until about the 3rd year in, but they sign the shed on the inside, each of the kids, or they'll leave a little comment. And I didn't realize this until about the 3rd year in. And we went looking at the sheds, looking at the inside, and I was blown away. So, you know, it's a great adventure, a great experience.
That's one of my favorite parts, sure. They sign the inside shed.
Yeah.
Every time I see the veterans presentation, there aren't dry eyes, right? There are people crying because it's nice being able to let these students and participants who built these sheds present them to veterans who can then use them to store any of their yard tools or whatever else they may need them for. Guess what? We're out of time. Crazy. It went by so fast. No, it's okay. It's so informative. But before I close out, I want to give Annie and Steve a real quick second to talk about all of the cities and dates their 4 construction combines are going to be in before I wrap up.
Okay, so we have April 2nd, 3rd in Pocatello, the launch off, and then we have Idaho Fall. Then we have Meridian, April 28th through the 30th, and then we have the following week. I think it's May 6th and 7th and 8th will be Idaho Falls, and then we have Coeur d'Alene, May 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Okay, well, thank you so much, both of you, for being on. Thank you, Shirley, for co-hosting. Shirley, I always love having Shirley on a co-host because she has so much institutional knowledge of what happens at all of our events that there's no better person to.
But I really like to mention the Builders Association, Deloitte,
yes, absolutely,
Dustin Downs. They are absolutely wonderful and supporters of the Combine, and I thank them so much.
Yep. So yeah, and we will thank all of our sponsors. If you come to the event, we'll have all of them on all of our marketing material at the event. We'll have them on our sweatshirts as well. So if you see someone with a Construction Combine sweatshirt on, all the people on the back and the front were supporters of that Combine. Thank you to all of them. And as we wrap up, if you are looking at registering yourself for the Combine, it's just a simple application process, or your child might be interested in the Combine, you can go to constructioncombine.org. Let me just double check that.
Yes, that's it.
And sign up, right? You can sign up for that Construction Combine. It should have all of those dates on it. And then that way you can go ahead and sign up for that. You can also go to cetrain.isu.edu to find out about any of the Construction Combine itself or any of the apprenticeship programs that we have offered here at Continuing Education. And if you would like to contact us or call us with any questions, you can call our office at 208-282-3372. Please also reach out if you're someone not in our area that wants to have a Combine in your own area and is looking at how to do that. So with all of that, I'm going to thank Shirley, Steve, and Annie for coming on, and be safe out there.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you.